all defeated, including Arvind Kejriwal, the face of the party. Arvind Kejriwal, Manish Sisodia, Satyendra Jain, Somnath Bharti defeated. Atashi managing to hold on, beating the BJP's Ramesh Biduri in the seat of Kalkaji. It is a dramatic result. The Congress, for the third consecutive election, scoring zero seats and only marginally increasing in vote share. The final tally 48 to 22. Yashwant Deshmukh of Sea Voter is with us, and what a day it's been. I mean,
Lovely.
election, हाँ क्या मजा है elections का.
बहुत मजा. I told you
You
that,
did.
if nothing goes, I mean, in that odd thing that BJP is going to have a lead of 4%, and that's precisely their lead is. So I am happy for that. And by the way, the Barkha, whatever the structures of the income group and that we discussed that day, look precisely how it has. I mean, so the man of the match for me is Nirmala Sitharaman. Forget about Delhi and forget about everybody else.
Well, woman of the match.
Woman
Woman
of
of
the
the
match. Yeah.
woman
Woman
of
of
the
the
match.
match is
Woman, we
absolutely.
must have that on our banner. Woman of the
I mean,
match is
nobody.
Nirmala.
I said this on many places. I said nobody's talking about her. I mean, man, that lady delivered BJP to Delhi to BJP finally. I mean, in the last 72 hours after the budget, before the poll, it was the sharpest turn in the tracker that we had ever seen. Now on the street, yeah, I'm so glad that you
Yeah,
pulled out this. Love you for
yeah.
that. So see the gap that had happened. So the problem, Barkha, was not whether BJP used to have middle class voters lead. The problem was these people never came out to vote. And it was the bottom of the pyramid whose turnout was always going to be better. And when we did the post poll, we realized they finally came out. And they finally came out only out of enthusiasm, largely because of the budget. That is a big thing. And they turned, I mean, I remember 27 years back when, there was no TV. We were doing the post poll for the 98 assembly elections. In the print, of course, the next day's headlines on our data was that middle class has shown the back to BJP.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
was it.
yeah.
So middle class after 27 years, actually the same middle class has propelled BJP back into the power, and that's something which is very important because, like the post poll said, Kejriwal is still getting 43-44% votes in Delhi. So the bottom of the pyramid is still with him. It's not a joke. So the Revdi culture, anybody is thinking that, okay, after BJP wins, the Revdi culture is going to stop. No. BJP understands it very clearly that these freebies, they matter to the bottom of the pyramid. It's going to continue. But what they have learned also, hopefully, not just BJP and everybody, that you have to balance out. There is almost 35% middle class in this country today, which is not antagonized if you are giving something to the poor. They are not anti-poor. But they do have a genuine question to ask. Boss, mujhe kya mila? I am paying taxes for these revenues. I am not even getting a free ration. So I am facing tax, I am facing inflation. Where do I go? So finally, the union government did something, and I hope every political party understands this, that middle class itself is a new caste group. The middle class value itself is a very different thing to deal with, because all of us, when we think about, I mean, you remember when economy opened up, Dr. Manmohan Singh, PV Narasimha Rao, at that point of time, Barkha, the middle class was only 3%, 3.5%. Today, we are looking at 35% middle class in this country. And the middle class values, we make joke, we make comics out of it, comedy shows out of it. But when the audience is laughing, there is a Brahmin middle class, there is a Dalit middle class, there is OBC, there is even a Muslim middle class laughing at the same joke, because those middle class values are the same. So it's a new caste group to be recognized and to be understood properly. And the politicians in this country need to balance this Revdi culture and what is required for the middle class, because that's the growth engine of this country. There is no middle class, there is no growth.
Let me ask you this before we get to the vote share, the seats, the Congress, the AAP. Your tracker regularly showed that Arvind Kejriwal was the most preferred CM contender, but you did show how his popularity had fallen enormously. Now, Arvind Kejriwal hasn't won his own seat.
I mean, what better revenge for Sandeep, actually? I mean, he polled precisely the votes that Arvind Kejriwal
Yes.
got defeated all. So
Yes.
yeah, he lost it. I mean, it is for him to understand. He lost the seat. If you see from the occupation point of view, if you
Yeah.
pull out that graphics, you will
Yeah. I
realize.
think we I
Uh,
think we have it.
yeah, and we
Guys, can
talked
we pull
about
out the sea voter slide on the
occupation
occupation?
thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Please
When
quickly.
I
Yeah.
looked at that graphic at that day, I said that he's going to be in trouble because his constituency has a significant number
No,
of
not income. Occupation, guys. Occupation. Yeah.
occupation.
Hmm.
Because his constituency has a significant number of Sarkari Karmchari. That was the thing with Sheila ji as well. She
Yeah.
used to get support of private sector workers, Sarkari Karmchari, as well as the Jhuggi voter, I mean, basically low income group voter. What he was left with eventually was the low income group voter, in his seat. The Sarkari Karmchari went back, and the private sector voter, typically in that, yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
Government service, look at the gap. 50. The moment I saw that government service thing, I was immediately like, yeah, problem mein aane wala hai. Because I mean, this was a block which was with him for the last two elections, by the way. It was with Arvind Kejriwal for the last two elections in a very, very strong way. Self-employed business, private sector, obviously the swing happened because Nirmala Sitharaman's budget. But the government service class getting away in his seat, I guess that troubled him.
Hmm. So now what happens to AAP? What is the future of Aam Aadmi Party with a defeated Arvind Kejriwal? Does the Aam Aadmi Party exist without Kejriwal? Does Atishi, who's the only prominent leader who manages to win her seat, you know, say, okay, you know what, I should be leader? Or does it continue to be Kejriwal's party? And what about the delight that the Congress is feeling, even more than the BJP in the defeat of Kejriwal? What is going on here?
Well, we'll talk about Congress separately. I mean, let's
Yeah.
focus
Okay.
first on Kejriwal.
Hmm.
Uh, I have been I'm listening to a lot many political obituaries since
Yeah.
morning for Kejriwal.
Yeah.
Something tells me it doesn't work that way. I
Yeah.
mean, politics of this country, the history of politics in this country has shown us that one should never, write political obituaries so quickly for anyone, particularly one who is polling about 43% vote in an election. You
Hmm.
know,
Yeah.
he has rewritten the rule of this freebie politics. He has understood that game.
Hmm.
He also understood the game of playing the Hindutva politics on BJP's stage. These are the credible things for him to politically do. Something
Yeah.
which Rahul Gandhi still has to learn.
Correct.
Now, is this a big setback from huge setback? I believe rather than losing Delhi, he's losing his own seat is the bigger setback.
Correct.
Course,
If he had won his own seat, his personal credibility would have been intact. Right now,
exactly.
right now he's personally weakened.
I think he has to go back to the drawing board and analyze and understand that the Sheesh Mahal actually cost him the image, dent in the image cost him more than anything else that one could have thought of. Second thing, politically speaking, they blundered by winning MCD election. Right? When I say
What
blunder,
What do you mean
simply
by that?
because
Yeah.
because till that point of time they were blaming for everything and anything that was going wrong in Delhi to BJP because of the MCD was being led by BJP. The moment Aam Aadmi Party was in power, that day I had talked and I had said to my friends, across the table, that you know what, this is now gonna trouble Kejriwal because I don't think MCD he can do anything better than what BJP was gonna do. And in the post-poll survey, you will figure out the reasons why people were not voting for Kejriwal. If you have that graphic, you can see that number of people who said पानी गंदा आ रहा है, कूड़े का
हाँ.
ढेर लग रहा है, that
Hmm.
almost more than half of that was on the civic issues. So yes, the damage of the image, the union budget, that was the flipping factor. But the base of the anger against Kejriwal was the fact that in the managing of the civic issues in Delhi, he failed.
Hmm.
Spectacularly failed in the MCD. And people, I mean, we discussed it many times, still remember Sheila Dikshit ji.
Yeah.
She delivered a world-class city in 15 years, half of which she actually worked under LG of given by NDA government, and people remember there was no problem. And in the last 10 years, even though those who voted for Kejriwal in this election, they do mention Mohalla clinic, better school, free bijli pani, that's fine. But the crumbling infrastructure of Delhi, that became a rallying point because people were watching this city as from a really beautiful city to a city which has become unlivable of sort from
Yeah,
every perspective.
yeah.
And I'm not saying that only Kejriwal is responsible for that. Maybe, I mean, a lot of things we need to discuss on that. That's different thing. But that anger was accumulating. And it just happened that people decided on this one that, okay, less of the complaint, less of the whining, we need a better Delhi. So,
Yeah.
so that way, I don't think Kejriwal is gonna anywhere as such very soon or like that. Kejriwal is gonna remain there. He will go back to the drawing board. I think he should go back to the drawing board. He should realize where he has hurt. He
But
should
will
say
we?
something
But
for
will
the
it be?
sake.
We have a reaction from Arvind Kejriwal. We'll just play that out, because I want to ask you: will he be able to hold his party together? That's the big question. Or will the BJP's last mile sort of, let's just go in for the jugular, be that if there are people in the AAP willing to cross over, let's take them. This is what Arvind Kejriwal said.
नमस्कार। आज दिल्ली के चुनाव के नतीजे आए हैं और जनता का जो भी निर्णय है, जनता का जो भी फैसला है, उसे हम पूरी विनम्रता के साथ स्वीकार करते हैं। जनता का निर्णय सर माथे पर। मैं भारतीय जनता पार्टी को इस जीत के लिए बहुत-बहुत बधाई देता हूं और मैं उम्मीद करता हूं कि जिस उम्मीद के साथ और जिस आशा के साथ लोगों ने उनको बहुमत दिया है, वो उन सभी उम्मीदों और आशाओं पे पूरा उतरेंगे। हमने पिछले 10 साल में जनता ने जो मौका दिया हमें, उन 10 सालों में हमने बहुत सारे काम किए। शिक्षा के क्षेत्र में, स्वास्थ्य के क्षेत्र में, पानी के क्षेत्र में, बिजली के क्षेत्र में और भी अलग-अलग तरीके से लोगों को राहत पहुंचाने की कोशिश की उनकी ज़िंदगी में और दिल्ली के इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर को भी हमने सुधारने की कोशिश की। अब जो जनता ने हमें निर्णय दिया है, हम न केवल एक कंस्ट्रक्टिव ऑपोजिशन का रोल निभाएंगे, बल्कि हम समाज सेवा, जनता के सुख-दुख में काम आना, व्यक्तिगत तौर पे जिसको भी जो ज़रूरत होगी, हम लोगों के सुख-दुख में हमेशा काम आएँगे, क्योंकि हम राजनीति में कोई सत्ता के लिए नहीं आए। हम राजनीति को एक ज़रिया मानते हैं, जिसके ज़रिए जनता की सेवा की जा सके, जिसके ज़रिए लोगों के सुख-दुख में काम आया जा सके। वो काम हम करते रहेंगे और हमें आगे भी इसी तरह से जनता के सुख-दुख में काम आना है। मैं आम आदमी पार्टी के सभी कार्यकर्ताओं को बहुत-बहुत बधाई देना चाहता हूँ। वो बहुत शानदार
Now, I find a marked difference between Arvind Kejriwal's response and at least the response of Congress spokespeople we've been talking to, who are now questioning, some of them are openly questioning the election machinery, the electoral process. The AAP has actually conceded the result quite maturely.
Actually, I'm surprised. Honestly speaking, going by whatever reason whatsoever in that way, I was expecting not so gracious acceptance.
Yeah,
So he
yeah,
he has actually handled that very maturely. I hope everybody does that.
correct.
Because at the end of the day, Barkha, it remains. I mean, one should not question the process. One should rather look at what has gone wrong with his or her own policy or the way one has proceeded. This is the same city he won twice, unprecedented mandates.
Yeah,
Today, also to his credit, he managed to poll quite a significant vote. I mean, BJP checkmated. And by the way, Congress played a perfect ally with the BJP, right? And going forward, what to look out for? Watch out for Punjab, because now
yeah.
that Congress and the BJP's interests are aligned, I'm expecting some fireworks in Punjab. It will be very difficult for Punjab to, hold on in a very comfortable way for him to hold on. But I'm expecting Arvind Kejriwal to actually invest himself big time in Gujarat. Now that he is free, he is not even the leader of opposition. Artishi is gonna take that mantle from inside the Delhi Assembly. He's going to leave Atishi for that, and he's probably going to focus big time in Gujarat, where, by the way, BJP will be more than happy for him to take that thing, because the more he grows, the Congress comes down and BJP's game is easy. So oddly enough, ironically, in this fight of Kejriwal versus Congress, is the BJP which is more than happy to help each of them. Lado. And one can only smile at the cryptic comment of Umar Abdullah today.
Yes. और लड़ो आपस में और लड़ो
आपस में और लड़ो.
Are you when you say the Congress was the perfect ally for the BJP, if the Congress and the AAP had not contested or competed against each other, would the outcome have been different? Not necessarily, right? Because this is a landslide. I mean, it's a huge win for the BJP. It's not a fragmented election.
My thing is, Barkha, is that whatever you do with conviction. If you had gone after Kejriwal for 4 years, then you should have not gone with the Lok Sabha thing with them.
Yeah.
If they would have contested Lok Sabha separately, then probably today BJP would have won 55 or 60 seats, because Congress polling, instead of 6%, 16 or 18%, would have done even bigger damage to Aam Aadmi Party. But then it would have given the confidence to the Congress to build it from there. Right now, look at the Congress vote share with 6% and 43% for AAP. It's still a long task. It's not going to happen overnight, number one. Number two, if you had gone with the alliance in Lok Sabha, then you should have followed it up properly with Haryana. We should have given 5-6 seats to Congress in Aam Aadmi Party in Haryana. The Haryana result would have flipped. You should have given, and then AAP should have given 10 seats to Congress in Delhi. Delhi election results would have been flipped. It would have been a different story. So problem is that one step forward, two step backward, once here and once there. The Congress is not really sticking to the game plan. First of all, questioning if they have a game plan, if they at all have a game plan. Because, once you have a game plan, then you stick to it. Now you are going to play volley with BJP to destabilize Punjab so that you can come back in Punjab. Without realizing, BJP is going to do the same in Gujarat and help up grow at your expense. How do you gain out of it? So whatever it is, I believe the Congress needs to sit and get its act together that, okay, हमारी strategy ये है और हम stick करेंगे, और strategies long term होनी चाहिए. Hammer it down for next 5-10 years that, okay, this is my strategy and I'm going to stick to it. Initial few years, as I mentioned to you the last time, Sheila Dikshit ji, when I was talking to her last time before we lost her, she was very clear, and she was been saying that Congress cannot resurrect in Delhi until and unless we actually thrash Aam Aadmi Party out. Let the BJP win by default couple of times, doesn't matter. But we must have a 10-year plan for Delhi. Only then we can get Congress back on track. She was bang on in her assessment.
Absolutely. Now, Yashwant, I know it's a busy day for you. Just a last question before we let you go. The new BJP blueprint for winning assembly elections, they have readapted after the Lok Sabha to use the Prime Minister sparingly. The RSS army is back in full swing, and they are not doing personality-centric campaigns. This time also there was no CM contender. I think the CM should be Parvesh for defeating Arvind Kejriwal, the giant killer, as it were, of this election. But with the BJP, you never know. How do you look at this new BJP blueprint?
I think they are quick learners. You see, they went on to the basically from JP Nadda's comment of that we do not need RSS to a complete Sangam Sharanam Gachami. And the very important part that you said that Narendra Modi has actually taken a backseat, and to think that a person who is as popular as Narendra Modi does not feel his ego being hurt that I'm taking a backseat is a thing learned for other parties, You play the match keeping in mind what works for you. You may have a Sachin Tendulkar in your team, but if the situation arises and demands, then you send other person to open.
Correct.
Right? So that doesn't mean that the Sachin Tendulkar's weightage goes down or his track record goes down. What matters is that his team is winning. That's what more important it is. I think BJP has learned that trick faster. And I also want to say this, Barkha, that 2024 Lok Sabha election was over analyzed.
Hmm.
Everybody who was reading too much, way too much
Yeah.
in the 2024 Lok Sabha verdict, now please sit back quietly, look into the results again. And what I've been saying all along, it was a blip in the radar. It was an aberration. Whatever the gains opposition made, it was
Yeah.
more because of internal problem of the BJP rather than the actual strength of the opposition.
Yeah.
You know,
Got it.
and unless that is taken into account, I do not think that any bigger challenge or any big challenge is in near future is gonna come BJP's way.
Okay, Yashwant, it's always great talking to you, but I know you have a stacked full day. Thank you so much. We'll catch up
Thank
again very soon. Take care and see
you.
you
Take
soon.
care. You take care.
Take care. Take care. See you soon. Well, our live election broadcast is continuing here at the Mojo Story, and we are going to join a very special guest. Yes, let's bring him up. Pradeep Gupta of Access My India is with us, and I should say that exit polls ran into some rough weather, but Access My India for the last two elections has managed to get it absolutely bang on. Pradeep ji, you had actually forecast between 45 to 55 seats for the BJP and a 48% vote share, and that's pretty darn close, almost exactly what has happened. So, congratulations to you, Pradeep Gupta of Access My India. क्या हुआ पहले तो आपको रिलीफ हुआ होगा that you got it right. So, first thoughts on that.
So, I mean, we try our people, particularly Access My India team member in the ground, and result is quite evident in front of all of us. So, it's a hard work of Access My India which always paid off. And this time,
Congratulations.
I would say, Barkha ji,